There's a piece of advice I have been asked to pass on tonight. It is very simple. It is this. Do not look at the sky after 11:47 p.m. I am going to explain where that advice comes from, and who left it, and what they found in the 14 months before they sent me everything they had collected. I am going to do this carefully, and in the order the documents arrived, because the order matters. I want to say one thing before we begin. The woman who sent me these documents is named Lena Voss. She is a researcher. She is precise and methodical, and the 14 months of work she sent me is the most thorough investigation of a single phenomenon I have ever received from a listener. I have not been able to reach her since the package arrived. The last document she sent was written at 11:41 p.m. It says she is going outside to look at the sky. Lena's first document is an archived forum post. She included it with a note that said, "This is where I found the first mention." I went looking for corroboration. I found more than I was ready for. The forum post was written by a user with no posting history before or after this single entry. The username was a string of numbers. The post read as follows. Has anyone else noticed this? 3 nights ago at some point past midnight, I looked out the bedroom window at the sky. Clear night, no clouds. I have a habit of checking the sky before I sleep. Old habit, I like to see the stars when they're visible. The stars were wrong. I don't know how else to say it. Not all of them. Most of them were fine. But in one section of the sky, roughly northeast, roughly 45 degrees elevation, the arrangement of stars was wrong. Not a constellation I didn't recognize. Stars I know the position of that were not where they should have been. I checked again the next night. They were back in the right position. I asked a friend who does amateur astronomy. She looked at the photos I took. She said the stars looked fine to her. I compared my photos to a star map. They matched her photos. They did not match what I had seen with my naked eye. Here's the part I don't know how to explain. I checked what time it was when I first looked out the window. The timestamp on my first photograph is 11:49 p.m. on PM. The second night, when everything looked normal, I checked at 11:20, and again at midnight. Both times looked fine. I don't know what I saw. I don't know if anyone else has seen it. I'm posting here because I don't know where else to put this. Lena's note attached to this document says she searched for corroborating accounts for 6 weeks before she found the second one. Different forum, different country. A man who described looking up at the sky while walking home and feeling his word recognized. He did not elaborate on what he meant. He had checked his phone immediately after. The time was 11:51 p.m. The third account was in a private Facebook group for amateur stargazers. A woman who said the sky above her house between approximately 11:45 and midnight on 2 consecutive Thursdays looked, she said, painted like a backdrop, like the flat idea of a sky rather than a sky. She had deleted the post within an hour. Lena had archived it first. By the end of the first month, Lena had 17 accounts. Different countries, different languages, different platforms. Same window, same feeling, same time. Lena's fieldwork journal runs to 240 pages. I am going to read you 4 entries. I have chosen them because they show, in sequence, what happened to the quality of her attention over those months. Methodology confirmed. I will observe the sky from a fixed location on 3 nights per week. I will begin observation at 11:30 p.m. and continue until 12:15 a.m. I will photograph every 5 minutes and annotate any deviations from the expected star map using stellarium for comparison. No anomalies observed tonight. Sky matches stellarium exactly at all observation points. The window I am testing, 11:45 to 11:55, produced no deviation. Either the accounts I have collected describe a genuinely localized phenomenon or a perceptual one. Both are worth investigating. First confirmed deviation tonight, 11:47 p.m. exactly. The Pleiades cluster was displaced approximately 3 degrees northeast of expected position in my photographs. The displacement is not visible in photographs taken at 1144 or 1152, only in the 1147 frame. I have checked for camera error, atmospheric refraction, and lens distortion. None account for a 3-degree displacement in a single frame bracketed by normal frames. The deviation is real and is confined to a specific moment. I am using 1147 as the marker from now on. That is when it happens. Something I did not expect. I have been reviewing all 94 nights of observation photographs. The displacement, when it appears, is not random. The displaced stars form a consistent pattern, different stars on different nights, but always the same shape. I have overlaid the deviation maps. The shape does not match any known constellation. It is a shape that appears at 11:47 p.m. in the sky, above my observation point, visible only in photographs, and repeats across 6 weeks of data. I sat with this for a long time before writing it down. I am writing it down now, because not writing it down feels like the more dishonest option. The shape looks like it is looking at something. I cannot describe it more precisely than that. It has an orientation. It is facing a direction. The direction is down. I found the carvings today. I was not looking for them. I was walking the neighborhood around my observation point, expanding my search radius as planned, when I saw the first one. On a low stone wall at the end of the street. Carved, not painted. Old carving, edges worn. The numbers, 1147. I photographed it and kept walking. 3 streets further, on the base of a lamppost. The same numbers, same style, similarly worn. A third on the underside of a bench in the small park at the north end of the area. This one less worn, newer, perhaps. I found 7 in total across a half-mile radius. 7 carvings of 1147, at approximately knee height or below, all oriented to face upward. Someone left these here. Someone who knew where to look. There are 130 more pages of journal after that last entry. The methodology does not change. The observations continue. The photographs accumulate. What changes is the handwriting. Not illegibly. Lena's handwriting remains precise throughout, but the pressure on the pen increases. The margins begin to fill. Questions replace conclusions. In the margin of the entry for month 9, day 3, written vertically in very small letters, she wrote, "What does it mean that the shape is always looking down? What is it looking for? What does it look like when it finds it?" She circled the last question. She drew a line from it to the date. She did not answer it. In month 10, Lena received a letter, handwritten, no return address, postmarked from a city 300 miles from where she lives. She included it in the package with a note that said only, "I do not know who sent this. I do not know how they knew where I lived, or what I had been doing, or how long I had been doing it." The letter reads as follows. "You have been watching for 10 months. You have the photographs. You have found the carvings. You have mapped the shape. I know because I did the same thing 11 years ago. I want to tell you what I learned, so that you can decide what to do with it. I am not going to tell you to stop. I tried to stop, and it did not work. Once you have seen the shape, you already know too much to unknow it. What I can tell you is this. The displacement you see in the photographs is not the stars moving. The stars are not moving. What you are photographing at 11:47 p.m. is the sky as it actually is. The sky without whatever usually makes it appear to us as normal. For approximately 40 to 90 seconds each night, the sky shows its real arrangement. What you are calling a displacement is not an anomaly. The anomaly is everything else. The anomaly is every other minute of every other night. The shape you have mapped is not a constellation. It is not an object. It is an area of attention. Something very large is looking at the surface of this planet at 11:47 p.m. every night, and the shape you have traced is the outline of where its attention falls. The carvings were left by people who knew. They are a warning not to be outside at that time looking up. Not because looking up is dangerous by itself. Because looking up at the right moment means that when it looks down, it can see your face looking back. And then it knows you are there. I looked up 11 years ago. I am writing this letter because I want someone to know what happened after. I am also writing this letter from a room that I have not left in 4 years. I am well. I am not in danger. I simply do not go outside at night anymore. You will make your own choice. I only ask that you make it with full information. Do not look at the sky after 11:47 p.m. Lena's response to the letter is documented in 2 journal entries. The first, written the day she received it, is 4 words. I need to verify. The second, written 3 days later, after she had spent those days cross-referencing the letter's claims against her own data, is 2 pages long. I am not going to read all of it. I am going to read you the last sentence, she wrote. The letters claim that the displacement is the truth and the normal sky is the anomaly, is consistent with every data point I have collected. I have been assuming I was watching something unusual appear. I should have been asking what usually conceals it. It took Lena 3 months to find the person who wrote the letter. She does not explain in her notes how she found them. She includes only the transcript of the call, which she recorded with their knowledge and consent. I am going to read both voices. I will read Lena's questions in my usual voice, and the other speaker, a man who asked to be identified only as R, in a slightly flatter register. He spoke carefully, as if he had thought about all of this many times and had arrived at a version of it he could deliver without distress. Lena, you said in the letter that after you looked it knew you were there. I want to understand what that means in practice. What changed? R. Nothing dramatic. I want to be clear about that because I think you might be expecting something dramatic. Nothing happened to me physically. I was not followed. I was not contacted. There was no visitation. No event I can describe to you as horror in the conventional sense. Lena, then what? R. I became aware that I was being observed. Not watched by a person or a camera. I mean in the way you are aware of a weight on a surface. The way a table is aware of something placed on it. Not consciousness. Not malice. Just attention. A very large, very old attention that had registered that something on the surface was looking back at it. Lena. And that is why you don't go outside at night. R. I go outside during the day without any difficulty. At night, I am aware of what is above me, in a way I cannot unfeel. The sky after dark has a quality to it, now that it did not have before. It has been 11 years, and I have not found a way to not feel that quality. Going outside is possible. It is simply not something I choose to do. Lena, the shape in my photographs, the area of attention, as you called it. I've been mapping it for months. It doesn't move. R. No. Lena. It is always over the same geographic area. R. Yes. Lena. Why there? Why there? R. I think the more useful question is, has the area ever been smaller? Has it ever been larger? What is the direction of change? Lena spent the next week re-examining her 14 months of photographs with R's final question as the framework. She was looking for change in the size of the shape, in the area of attention. She found it. In month 2, the area covered approximately 12 square miles when projected onto a map. In month 8, when she found the carvings, it covered 19. By month 13, when she spoke to R, it covered 26, growing slowly, consistently, in every direction from a central point. She calculated, based on the rate of expansion, the date when the area of attention would cover the full visible sky above her location. Not a distant date, not decades away. She wrote the date in the margin of the page, where she completed the calculation, circled it once, and then wrote 2 words beneath it. She wrote, "Not enough time." Lena's final document is not a journal entry. It is a letter addressed to whoever receives the package. To me, as it turns out. She wrote it at 11:41 p.m. on the night she sent everything. It reads as follows: "I am sending you everything I have. The journal, the photographs, the letter, the transcript. I have organized it carefully, and I believe it is complete. I want to explain why I am sending it tonight specifically." R asked me the right question, and I found the answer, and the answer told me something I've been sitting with for 3 weeks. The area is growing. At the current rate of expansion, it will cover the full sky above my location in approximately 4 months. After that point, every moment of every night will be 11:47. There will be no safe window. There will be no time to look up safely. If I want to look, if I want to see what is actually there, the truth of the sky rather than what usually conceals it, I have at most 4 months in which to do it. I have been trying to decide for 3 weeks whether to look or not. I have read R's account of what it is to be noticed. I have taken it seriously. I am not dismissing what happened to him or what he told me. But I am a researcher, and there is something in the sky that no one has ever described seeing clearly. And I have 14 months of work that has brought me to the edge of being able to see it. And in 4 months, the window closes permanently. I am going outside at 11:47 tonight. I am going to look at the sky. If something looks back, if R is right that looking means being noticed, then I wanted to know that someone looked deliberately, not accidentally, not in ignorance. Someone who understood what might happen and chose to look anyway. I do not know what I will see. I am writing this at 11:41 p.m. So there is a record of the decision before I make it. Whatever I find, you now have the most complete documentation that exists of what is happening in the sky after 11:47. Please put it somewhere people can find it. Do not look at the sky after 11:47 p.m. I am going to. Lena Voss. I received Lena's package 14 days ago. I have not been able to reach her since. Her email goes unanswered. The phone number she included in the cover letter is no longer in service. I have no way to know what she saw at 11:47 p.m. on the night she went outside. I have been checking the sky. I want to be honest about that. I look at the sky most nights now, at 11:47, and I photograph it. And the next morning I compare the photographs to a star map, and they always match. No displacement, no shape, no area of attention that I can detect. I do not know if this means I am in the wrong location. I do not know if it means the window has already closed where I am. I do not know if it means Lena was wrong about what she found. What I know is this: somewhere in the world right now, it is 11:47 p.m. And somewhere in the world, right now, someone is standing outside and looking up at what is actually there instead of what usually conceals it. And something very large and very old is looking back at them. And whether they are Lena, or whether they are you, or whether they are someone I will never hear from, I hope they find something worth having looked for. The fire is still burning. I will see you at the next story.